You probably noticed that SimsUshare never asks you where to store simulations. They just essentially are stored somewhere on your hard drive. Now, before version 1.1.2, all the simulations were stored by default inside of your Documents folder, inside a folder the program creates called SimsUshare. And you could pull these out and transfer them. Now, with version 1.1.2 for Windows and Macintosh, we created a mechanism where you can specify a different folder to store your simulations. For example, a shared network folder or a Dropbox folder. So that way you can synchronize your simulations across different machines that have SimsUshare. To access and set the location of your simulations, we call the main sim folder. On the main menu, you go to Change Main Sim Folder, and over here it lets you then decide which folder you want to use to store your simulations. You simply select Main Sim Folder, and let's say I create a new folder off of my desktop here, or I could point to Dropbox or whatever, and I call this my New Sim Folder. Maybe New Sim Folder is on your network. I hit OK, and now if I actually go here to look at Play, it puts a welcome sim in there. If I were to look on my desktop, I'll just drag this over here so you could see. You will see in the new sim folder, it now actually has the sims and the catalog. And you can always just go back and forth if you wanted to divide among different folders. However, in the next section we're going to show you how you can see multiple sim catalogs at the same time and choose among them and edit and play and all that good stuff. The last segment showed how you can change your main sim folder, which is where you store your simulations that you create. This segment is going to show you how to show multiple simulation folders, so you don't have to keep switching back and forth. So for example, I'm editing here, and you see now I have three groups: my simulations, which is my main sim folder, desktop sims, which is the folder we created in the last segment, and my Dropbox sims, another folder that's on my Dropbox account. Now, how do we actually specify to SimsUshare which folders to use? We can't do that actually inside the program. We wanted to keep the interface in the program as simple as possible. So what you have to do if you want to create multiple sim folders, you have to create a special folder inside of your main sim folder. My main sim folder right now is Documents SimsUshare. The folder is called Config. Inside the config folder, I have a special file that I call simfolders.xml, so you have to name it that. If I edit that using Notepad, what we'll see here is that it specifies which folders to include for SimsUshare. And in here I've made two. It assumes that this main sim folder is, you don't have to specify. Now, sim folder here, the first one I have is, I called it Desktop Sims. You can change the title, anything between the double quotes, and then the path name, which is how to get to that folder. Now, if you're not sure how to get to the folder, let me show you New Sim Folder. If I open this up here, this is my New Sim Folder. I can click on the folder and it will tell me C:, whatever that happens to be. And I can copy that value and then just put it in between the double quotes. You'll see that the second folder that I've included is I called My Dropbox Sims, and I give the path name, again, the location on the computer where that folder exists. And if you look at my Dropbox, you'll see I have here example sims, and inside here I have my catalog, and I can do the same thing. If you decide to create a folder that doesn't have sims already, SimsUshare will put the welcome sim into that location. Now, that's nice to be able to organize sims. You see they're already here, but how did I get sims into those locations? Now, by default, simulations are created in the main sim folder. To be able to copy sims across into other folders, you select the simulation, and then you use the menu here to say Copy Sim to, and it will then give you a list of all your folders. So I could say Copy MethLab into the Desktop Sims folder. I hit OK, and I give it a name, and now let's say MethLab 2, copy, and now MethLab 2 is sitting in my desktop Sims folder. And I can reorganize this folder, sort of shuffle things around, do whatever I want, and I can even copy this into other folders, even back into my simulations, of course, with a unique name. And when I edit the simulation, of course, I'm editing that simulation in that folder, whether it's here on my desktop or whether it is in Dropbox. Now, if I want to copy it across folders, again, that's the copy sim to. But the clone feature is for copying within the current folder. And of course, if you delete a simulation, that is within the current folder. So this is a straightforward way, with just a little bit of typing and understanding about folders, how to make multiple simulation folders something shareable and extendable for your organizing your simulations.